Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Pick Six, the podcast by the Attractions Group, where we talk about the latest top stories from the attractions and amusement industry.
Now, before we delve into this week's Pick Six, let me remind our listeners where they can tune in to the Attractions Group podcast. You can catch us on your favorite podcast apps, like us on Facebook, follow us on X, and definitely subscribe to our YouTube channel. Ryan, let's get us started.
Definitely subscribe to that YouTube channel. All right. So story number one, and this is going to be the story of the next decade, I imagine. But Six Flags has partnered with the Digital Alliance for a major digital upgrade featuring AI-driven innovations like Missy Six Concierge, a loyalty program, a revamped website, a metaverse gaming platform, an anti-drowning system, an updated app, and a digital wallet. So AI has finally invaded the theme park space. What took them so long?
Well, I mean, that technology's out there, and it's just a question of time before it was going to be incorporated into our industry. This is all nice and everything, and I know you're a big tech guy, Ryan. But for me, it still comes down to, the best rides, the best shows, the best food. Those are the things that have always been the reason why people go to theme parks and why they keep going back is those experiences. And this is just one of those things that, maybe it enhances a little bit, but it's not going to be that reason why you go back a second, third, 20th time in one season to a park.
Right. I mean, there's certainly benefits to this. And, it's something we could discuss ad nauseum, but it seems exciting. It seems like it's a good implementation of AI technology. And I look forward to seeing where this goes.
All right, moving on. Yes, Universal Orlando Resort's new Dreamworks land, opening June 14th at Universal Studios Florida. It'll showcase a Dreamworks Imagination celebration show, a troller coaster ride, and a themed activities based on popular movies like Kung Fu Panda, Trolls, and Shrek. Additionally, the resort will debut the Sensational, a symphonic spectacular nighttime show at the park, and Hogwarts Always at Islands of Adventure. Plus, Universal Mega Movie Parade, and that's going to premiere on July 3rd.
Yeah, super excited about the fountain show. I heard buzzings about that, shall we say, while I was down there last time, and the park completely understands that a nighttime fountain show is severely lacking for both the core season as well as Halloween Horror Nights. Apparently this is a big one that they're going for. So
yeah, they've got something at Universal Orlando, going on all the time, and it's a reason, to keep you coming back for more. So somebody like you with the annual pass, I mean, there's something almost every month or two that's worth checking out.
Yeah, I agree. And both of the, I believe June 16th or so is when DreamWorks and the Fountain Show debut. And then the parade, I believe, is July 3rd. Yeah. So
correct with the parade.
Sounds like June 14th, I'm sorry, is when the other two debut. So yeah, you can almost catch two debuts at once, or if you wait a few more weeks, you can catch all three. But Universal stepped up their parade game, and their holiday parade was fantastic. Their Mardi Gras parade was amazing. So I'm excited about this. So really thrilled. All right, moving along. All right, Disneyland Resort in Anaheim, California launches its Pixar Fest event at Disney's California Adventure, running until August 4th. Boy, is that a long run. Highlights include the new Better Together, a Pixar Pals celebration parade, an updated Together Forever, a Pixar nighttime spectacular fireworks show, the Pixar Pals Playtime Party, and appearances by characters from Pixar Soul, Luca, Turning Red, and Elemental. Cool. So a bunch of Disney Plus movies. Have you seen these? Did you ever watch this stuff? Because Soul I thought was fantastic.
Yeah, I have. So yeah, I mean, when you're part of a family that loves Disney, you have no choice but to be integrated into all these different shows and characters and things like that.
Yeah, so Soul I loved. Luke I haven't seen. Turning Red I thought was kind of boring, although my girlfriend is a redhead, so I got a treasure trove of jokes. And then I always lead her into the store in Disney's Hollywood Studios where they have the turning red display and say, like, here you go. And she gets really mad. So there's that. So I guess it's a net gain. Elemental I haven't seen. All right. Moving right along.
The reimagined Top Thrill 2 at America's Roller Coaster Cedar Point debuted to rave reviews across a series of events last week at the park, including Media Day and a charity event that raised $84,000 for Prayers from Maria. Here's what some of the first to experience the attraction had to say.
I think the ride's great. I think all the improvements they've done to it really take what they had that was already good and made it that much better.
I think it was the best ride. It was reimagined in a way that I wouldn't have ever thought. I would find it more thrilling, and I do. I went on when I was really little with my dad, and now my dad's 70, and we're back, and he rode it with me, so this is my second time today on it, and it was over the top thrilling, really, really great.
I like that it goes back once at least and shoots back again. Very, very happy with it.
It's a great ride. I think Cedar Point and Zamperla outdid themselves. Phenomenal ride.
Definitely. I have to agree 100%. My most anticipated element was the backward launch, going 101 miles per hour and up that spike, and it definitely exceeded my expectations.
When you come down from the spike, going into it and launched at 120 miles per hour, it feels the same intensity as original Dragster. So it really is a phenomenal ride. I think it's a step up from the original Dragster.
Absolutely.
It's fantastic.
The ride's pretty good. First launches is about what most people expect. It's a little slower, but it's still good. You go up to the top hat about halfway, wait for that to pass by. You go back, the reverse launch is just phenomenal. It's just great. A lot of weightlessness, a lot of aero time when you're coming up down the spike. Over the top hat is really intense. It kind of flings you out of your seat. Kind of on the way down, you can't really move. Great ride, really recommend, especially compared to the original. Totally.
Well, there you have it. We'll have to make it up to Sandusky here soon to check it out for ourselves.
Yep, looking forward to it. So what's next?
Next up, we've got Milwaukee County Zoo. So ground was recently broken for a new habitat at the Milwaukee County Zoo in Wisconsin as part of the Africa Adventure Project. Expected to be completed in the fall of 2025, this exhibit will feature indoor and outdoor areas for rhinoceroses, hippopotamuses, along with a recreational space. The zoo aims to provide a safe haven for eastern black rhinos, one of the most endangered species. Upon completion, Milwaukee County has allocated over $23 million for this development. So always happy to see these zoos make these enhancements and make a better guest experience and make a better, more efficient thing for the animals.
Yeah, I've been to the zoo in Milwaukee, and it's nice.
Yep. Next up.
I like turtles.
Well, crocs have become a danger at Disney World, but not the ones with teeth and scales. Walt Disney World has reportedly declared war on crocs, the ones you wear on your feet, following multiple incidents involving the foam slides jamming escalators. The Florida theme park has outlawed the popular footwear, at least on its escalators, where the shoes have been getting chewed up and stuck in the escalator teeth, according to Inside the Magic. Now, escalators inside the Land Pavilion at Disney's Epcot, they're featuring stickers with the unmistakable silhouette of a croc crossed out in a red circle, and that's according to a lot of photos that have been shared on X.
Yeah, it's funny because Disney seems to. It definitely is attributed to the fact that they draw so many people, but I've never heard of another like your local Macy's on their escalator having a problem with Crocs. But I guess, if you have enough people going up and down that escalator, you're eventually going to have it where, all right, we've had 4 people almost lose toes because of Crocs this year. We got to do something about it.
Yeah, I thought that was just kind of a fun, interesting little story to toss into our Pick 6 this week.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Well, let's move on to the listener question.
All right.
Do you take the first one, Don?
All right, it's from James Strudwick. He's from Oak Ridge, Tennessee. He says, big fan of your show, especially the Pick Six segment. Thanks for listening, James. He said, I'm curious, when it comes to featuring guests, do you typically initiate contact with the parks or do they approach you to be on the show?
That's a really good question because the answer is yes to both, you know?
Yeah, when we first started out, obviously we had to reach out to the different parks and, the ride manufacturers to try to start out with guests. And then it kind of evolved. And as we, I would say, Ryan, probably early January is when, we started hearing from some other parks that if there's an opportunity, they had things going on, they would have interest in being on the show. Sometimes it doesn't work out because, we typically record on a Wednesday night, not a good night for some of the folks that have expressed interest. But yeah, you're right. Ryan, it does go both ways that, we're doing a lot of outreach and also it's nice to hear from others, whether they're working in the industry for a park or they're with a ride manufacturer that they want to be on.
Yeah, I agree. And like you said, one of the big eye openers was IAPA last year. We didn't go to this most recent IAPA, but the one before that, just talking to different manufacturers, explaining who we are, and not just manufacturers, but you get the gist. It's IAPA, but just being like, hey, we have this podcast. We'd love to have you come on and tell your story. And people are like so flattered by that. But you're right. As of probably the beginning of this year, we got a lot more of this park reached out to us like, hey, we've got this thing coming. Do you think it would be okay if we scheduled some time or whatever? Which is, that's what we're here for. So obviously, yeah. So that's always interesting. The cool part is between the two of us, we know enough people personally that like I'll text them. Let me text somebody from this manufacturer. Let me text somebody from this park, So that's kind of cool. But as you said, there are some guests that we've been trying to have on for 2 years now at this point, and we just can't make it work. Partially our fault, partially their fault, but always very, very grateful when anybody is willing to take up their Wednesday night to hang out with us and talk and do all that stuff. But, with that being said, if anybody has any recommendations or anybody that they would love to have on the show, right? Maybe somebody in the industry, a park GM, spokesperson, somebody who works for a manufacturer, something like that. Shoot us a private message at attractions_GRP, and we'd love to hear out what you have to say because we don't know everybody. It'd be fun to do that. Cool.
All right. What's next?
Next question is from Dobby Harris. He's from Bird in the Hand, Pennsylvania, which is a real city, we came to find out.
I had to look it up. Ryan, I'd never heard of it. And I'd been through Pennsylvania just numerous times. I worked in professional hockey for 17 years and, we played teams in Johnstown and Wilkes-Barre, Scranton and Hershey and, a couple other cities and just never remember passing through any area where there was a sign on the expressway or something that said take this exit for Bird in the Hand. But you're right, it does exist.
Yeah, well, minor league hockey, as we've discussed before, is a geography lesson. We'd love to hear more about Bird in the Hand, Pennsylvania. Is it a small town? I assume it's a small town, and if you're in Pennsylvania and your city does not have a minor league hockey team, you probably don't even have a zip code at this point. All right. Well, anyway, so enough ragging on your hometown, Dobby. But what was this question? Which of the parks do you think has the best wood coaster lineup? Kennywood with Thunderbolt, Racer, and Jackrabbit, Holiday World with Voyage, Legend, and Raven, or Kings Island with Beast, Mystic, and Raven? How are we supposed to choose amongst those three parks?
Yeah, that's kind of like, trying to say who's your favorite child, right?
Right.
Excellent wooden coasters at each of those parks, but he wants us to pick one. And I think if I have to, I'm going to give the edge to Holiday World.
Really?
Love the Beast. Grew up with it. Grew up with the Racer. Love Mystic Timbers. The Kennywood coasters, not the tallest, fastest, longest, but all, historical, ace landmark coasters. They're all fantastic. So it's not, it's close. It's close. But I would just say that, if you had to give it a rating, let's say a 1 to 5 for each of these coasters, and then you totaled up the score, I think holidays, depending on how you rank them or whatever, number 3 would be better than the other parks number 3 in terms of the thrill element of the ride. So I'm going to lean toward Holiday World. What about you, Ryan?
I don't know, because which ones are my favorite as far as like which are the best rides? I mean, it's hard to say because the wild card in there is the Voyage, because the Voyage is unmistakably one of the best wooden coasters on Earth, and may always be that way.
And like the Beast, 2 different animals. It's a great ride at night.
Yeah.
It's a different ride during the day. Raven, fantastic ride. Right? So that kind of gets lost in the shuffle there at Holiday World. Every time I go to Holiday World, I can never decide which one of the 3 I like best.
Oh, for me, it's Voyage, hands down.
Yeah,
for me,
I'll ride Raven, and I'm like, oh, this is my favorite at the park. Then I'll ride Voyage. I'll know it's got to be Voyage, and then I'll go ride Legend. No, it's Legend, and I just cannot get enough of those 3 coasters. Same thing, when I'm at the other 2 parks, with Kennywood and its collection, and obviously Kings Island. A lot of rides that I racked up on those coasters there at Kings Island. But it's a great question. It's very difficult to choose. But that's almost like saying, would you rather have Patrick Mahomes or Joe Burrow as your quarterback, right?
Well, one's a Super Bowl champion, one's a Super Bowl runner-up. but for you audio listeners, the pain in Don's face at that moment when I said that, but we haven't really concentrated on Kennywood at all, because you mentioned they're classic, and that's true. But I feel like that's almost diminishing, where it's like I like them because they're old. The reality is, even Jackrabbit, which is it's like modern day would be considered like a family coaster, that has some great airtime. It's got an awesome layout. The racer being the Morbius or whatever, you come in on one side and enter on the other, and so on. That's completely cool. And then, like, what can you say about Thunderbolt? Thunderbolt is their racer essentially, where it's just classic and it's
legendary. Yeah, I mean, all 3 of them are legendary. So I mean, it is so close that it almost put them all in the hat, just pick one out. You're not going to go wrong.
Yeah, exactly. And then we didn't talk at all about the Kings Island stuff because we have a whole podcast about that. But the Beast goes without saying. The Racer goes Racer now. The Racer would be a negative 5 years ago, but nowadays it's like a brand new ride.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a great job by the Gravity Group, breathing new life into that. And Mystic Timbers, which opened in 2017, is one of the best wooden coasters that I've been on. I mean, it's just, if you take these coasters, so we got 9 of them here on this list. If I pick my top 12 of my favorite wooden roller coasters, these 9 are all on that list of my top 12. So it's I mean, it's like I said, it's so hard to choose. That might be the hardest question that we've received on the Attraction podcast for us to come up with an answer for.
Yeah, it's one of those things where what's better, Kings Island or Cedar Point? Well, you'll have people that swear by each one. Which one's better, the Beast or the Voyage? Well, you'll have people that are willing to cut your throat over which one they think is the best. But
well, let's hear from you, our listeners. If you're watching this on YouTube, in the comments, which of those 3 parks, which group would you pick as the best collection of wooden coasters?
Yeah. Leave a comment on this video, or tweet at us at attractions_GRP and answer our listener question for us. Doing our job for us, I might add. But Kennywood with Thunderbolt, Racer, and Jackrabbit, Holiday World with Voyage, Legend, and Raven, or Kings Island with the Beast, Mystic Timbers, and Racer. It'll be interesting to see what everyone says. But hey,
and there are no wrong answers.
Yep, that is right. There's never a wrong answer when it comes to these 3 choices. But that's another Pick 6. Make sure you follow us on all of your favorite podcast apps, Apple, Google, Spotify. Watch us on YouTube. Smash that subscribe button. Hit the like button. Leave a comment. Like we said, one of those 3 things will be cool. Otherwise, you can just say that you like Don's shirt or you like my haircut. But we'll see you next week.
Haircut?
Your haircut's fine, I guess. We'll see you next week with another Attractions Group podcast and Pick 6.